What up, fashionistas? Today's makeup tutorial is Dracula. I really wanted to channel a little bit of Transylvania and a little bit more of the traditional sense of what Dracula really looks like. More bat, we got the pointy ears, we got the blood, we got the veins, and like the really three-dimensional cheekbones. I really wanted to get you guys to teach you a little bit of the theory behind that. If you guys follow me on Instagram and Snapchat, I've been teasing this for days, so definitely follow me. So let's just jump right in, homies. I'm going in first with Mayron's Paradise Paint, which is a water-activated face paint, and the color I'm using is Storm Cloud. I'm using a stippling brush because I found that stippling brushes really get a nice even and opaque coverage with face paints, and it's a really great way to cover a large surface. So I forgot to shave in the first clip, and then shave your face. I can't, this is about as short as I can go, I just can't do it, I need it. But you just want to cover your whole face in that. Pop in some contacts before you get started if you're a crier like me. I'm going in with the Makeup Forever Flash Palette, which you guys, if you're not familiar, it's just cream-based paints. And cream-based paints blend beautifully over water-activated face paints. Thanks, Jordan Hans. So I'm going in with this, and I'm mapping out all of the raised areas. You want to visualize your final makeup, and you want to just start highlighting first. How I like to do face paints in most makeup tutorials is I like to go in first with the mid-tones, which was the gray face paint all over, and then go in with the highlights, then shadows. So I'm tapping off all the excess face paint into my skin, and then once that's all in there, I'm taking a blending brush and I'm blending it, and you can see it's blending smoothly. It's a great transition and really brings forward these high planes of the face. Now I'm going in now and doing a little bit of the nose. So I'm going very Transylvanian, very bat human hybrid and very sunken in face. So I want to really highlight the nostrils of the nose and the bridge of the nose to get the most dimension possible. I'm going in with a flat brush now and doing a little bit of a butt chin because I just felt like, Dracula should have a butt chin, because why not? And I'm going in now with a little bit of furrow and brow line. So essentially you want to just visualize what your final makeup is, and you want to just get a lot of texture and a lot of movement in the face as possible. So when you do both sides, you look like a Sith Lord. I'm going on now with a black cream paint, and one of my favorite sponges by Makeup Forever. You guys see me use this a ton. I'm going to speed through the mouth section because I end up covering most of it in blood, but I'm going in with a little bit of black texture and then white texture over that just to give a nice multifaceted look, and I don't want anything to be too flat in this makeup. And then I'm going with a liner, and I'm just doing a little bit of black lines. You want to focus on the shape of the gray on the lip. You know what I'm saying? To get that really cracked feel. And then go in with some more black face paint just to stipple out and make it look very dirty. You're going to lose a little bit of highlight while doing this, so go back in with highlight and then enhance the shadows again with a liquid liner. Bang. So I'm going with this Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow in the shade Hot Chocolate, and I'm going in with this eyeshadow. It's F55 by Sigma, which is what I love to use for shading, and I'm dipping it into the face right where I want the deep and most depth. And now you can see with a light pressure, I'm flicking the rest of it, and that's going to give me an ombre, nice transition shadow right away. So I'll do it again here on the cheekbone. I'm placing it where I want the most depth, and then I'm lightening up pressure, and then I'm moving it across the face. So as you can see, it's deeper where I started, and it gets lighter as I move. I'm going with a blending brush just to fade that all in. I want to show you guys how to use one eyeshadow and one brush to get a multi-toned look. So as you can see here, I'll go in with a temple. I'm pushing right where I want the most depth, and then I'm loosening pressure, I'm doing less pressure on the brush and then sweeping it out. So once you go in with a blending brush, you can see a little bit better right here as I blend that it's deeper right where that highlight is, and then it's fading out. It's getting a gradient right off the bat, and that's using one brush and one eyeshadow. Oh, and the brush that I'm using is by Smith Cosmetics. It's the 232 brush. So you can see how it's deeper right as it hugs the highlight and then fades out. And you can do that with one eyeshadow and one brush. So I'm going with lighter pressure now, and I'm doing it to the forehead and the nose. I'm just contouring these areas, and I really want to bend light so it gives a lot of texture and dimension. So this guy looks like, he's 1,000 years old. Going up that brown again, I'm following the natural shape of my eyebrow, which I suggest that you guys do too, because it really fits your face. Unless you want to cheat it and make it a little bit more higher or elongated, a nice rule of thumb and a nice guideline is to just follow your brow shape. I'm bringing it down now around the side of my nose down to the bottom of my eye to really get that sunken in eye look, and I'm just doing it right now on the outer section. So once you finish shading, you can kind of see that it's giving the overall eye shape and it looks very sunken in. Now I'm enhancing the brow furrow lines, and I'm just adding a shadow right at the base of where that skin would be, so it looks like the light source is hitting from above you and then coming down. I'm taking a little bit of black eyeshadow, and right in those deepest areas where I already applied the hot chocolate, I'm just enhancing that with black. So you can see now it's getting a nice multi-dimensional feel. It's got a lot of colors and a lot of shading going on. But I'm using that same flat brush by Sigma. I'm just pressing in right here where I want the most depth, and then blending it out from there. And that's really going to cheat the eye and have it visualize this makeup as being three-dimensional when it's in fact not. I'm taking just a little bit of black eyeshadow now, and I did it a little bit underneath my eye, and I'm also creating a little bit of a bottom jaw. I wanted the focus to really be in the center of the face, but just so it's not too flat over there, just add a little bit of black lines and shade just to give a little bit of a jaw. I'm going in with this brush by Makeup Forever, which I love for texture, so I'm dipping it in a cream-based paint, and I'm shading underneath that cheekbone to add depth into the face, but I also don't want it to be a solid black by using an eyeshadow. I want it to have a little bit of grunge and a little bit of texture, so I'm going in with that paint now, and I'm applying it. I'm using cream paint instinctively because you can tap it in, and you can blend it in very easily, so it looks like it's infusing with the skin and not just resting right on top of the skin. I'm squeezing the same sponge now with white cream paint, and I'm going over all of my highlight areas. I want it all to have a lot of texture, but I'm squeezing it so, one, I don't get the square shape of the sponge on my face, but I also just want to get it in very select areas. So just squeeze it and just tap it in, and that's going to give you a nice texture so it's not too flat. I thought my eyes were a little bit too round, so I'm going in with a little bit of black eyeshadow, and I'm just sweeping it up, and that really, like, for me, it sold it as more of a vampire. It's a little bit more of a sharper line, and it pulls the entire forehead up. And the perimeter of my forehead now is looking a little bit too flat, so I went in with that stipple brush and added some black. So after doing all this blending and stuff, you might lose some of those highlights. So I'm going back in with a white cream paint by Makeup Forever, and I'm enhancing the highest points of the highlights in this makeup, and then deepening up the shadows mostly around the smile lines. So I wanted to conceal my hairline as best as possible, so I'm going in with a black face paint and a stippling brush, and I'm going around my hairline and my forehead, bringing it right down to those furrow lines, just so the forehead has texture and depth too, like the rest of the face. So my camera wasn't recording because I suck, but just cover your whole entire body in black, or gray, and then add the white highlights in these bone shapes, and now I'm going with brown cream paint to shade the top of the bone, and then a black cream paint to shade the bottom of the bone. My camera kept dying and messing up in this part, so it's not the greatest. And then I'm going back in with that same old sponge, and I'm just stippling all of that gray area just so it's a very dirty body. And realistically, the face paint of this took me hours and hours and hours, and I was just trying to speed through this part because I was really excited for the intro clips, so whatever, I'll spin through a little bit. I'm going in with a red lip liner, and I'm applying that to my waterline and my lower lash line to give that blood effect and give it a nice foundation and essentially prime for the blood that we're going to be going in with. I'm going in with Coagulated Blood by Mayron, which is basically a gel product, and it stays shiny always. It doesn't dry, it never gets matte or cracky. It stays in this gelled consistency all the time, so it has that shine, so it looks more like fresh blood, which makes it perfect for what we're using here. I'm going with a NYX Lip Duo because you can see it has this very sharp point, and I loved the color. So I'm going in with that, and I am lining the veins, which the veins on the right side of my face came out better because the pencil was sharper, but then it lost its tip, and it's unsharpenable, I think. If you guys have this, let me know if I can sharpen that back into that point. But going in with a blending brush now to apply the blood splatters on the mouth, and I'm doing a blending brush on purpose because it doesn't apply it evenly. It applies it very stippily, and it gives a lot of texture in the blood because I want it to look like this blood's been sitting on my face for quite some time, and it's stained the skin, as well as having some fresh spots closest to the mouth. And that gives a really nice, really cool vampire feel. Finishing off by just adding a little bit of black to the eyelid, and then winging it out to give it a little bit of a sharp effect. You know what I'm saying? And this is a cool trick I learned from a cosplayer on YouTube, whose name I can't remember, I'm so sorry. But you just take a little bit of tape and you wrap it around your ear, and that will give you a pointed ear, and then you just paint it. And it's a really easy way to get like an elf. You know what I'm saying? It's a cool trick. But that's a finished tutorial, my friends. I hope you guys liked it. I had so much fun filming this. It took me days. And I'm really loving these cinematic intros. I hope you guys are too. But I hope you guys learned something cool today. And, you know, follow me on Instagram, Snapchat. I like to connect and keep up with you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, friends.